Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you how to make a jigsaw using your Cricut cutting machine. This project is only for people that have a Maker or a Maker 3 though, because you can't use the knife blade in a Explore family or in the Joy machines, unfortunately. But this is a jigsaw that I have made recently, and this is us when we went to walk an alpaca at a holiday park recently. And that one was called Chino and this one was called Diego, and we were lucky enough to get to walk both of them. It was such a lovely experience. If you ever get to walk an alpaca, definitely take the opportunity to do it. This jigsaw is actually made using printable vinyl and also 2mm thick heavy chipboard, and all the materials that you'll need will be listed down below in the description for you as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy this video. Let's jump straight in. Let's just really quickly go through the materials that you're going to need for this particular project. So you will need a knife blade for this project, and that is this one. It comes in a permanent housing. It doesn't have the little plunger on the top to make it a quick swap housing, and it comes with this little cover on it as well, and that's just to protect the blade really. So if we take that off, you can see how sharp that blade is under there. It's basically like the same sort of blade that you get in one of these craft knives, even though this one's flat on the top because it would appear we've snapped the end off somehow. So you'll need that, and you will need one of these craft knives also. So let's just put the case back on to there. You'll need some masking tape. This is just 1-inch masking tape. It's nothing special, just really cheap stuff will do. You don't need anything in particular. I've got a weeding tool. That's just to aid with checking our cut halfway through. I've got a squeegee. I have got a ruler. I've got my tacky glue here, and you'll see why we need that in a little while. I've also got a sheet of corrugated card, or whatever you want to call this. This is what I'm going to use for the backing of my jigsaw puzzle. This is the chipboard I'm going to be using. It's Cricut branded heavy chipboard. It's 2mm thick, and these sheets are 11 inches by 11 inches square. This is a pack of 5. I think I bought this at Hobbycraft, but I have seen it recently on Amazon for about £4. So I did stock up and I bought 2 or 3 of those because that's really cheap for this. It's normally about £11. You're going to need a strong grip mat, which is this purple one if you're using a Cricut branded one. You can see it's got chipboard marks on it from where I've done the other jigsaws and when I made some Christmas ornaments as well. So you will need one of these. And then the last thing you're going to need is a sheet of either printable vinyl, or if you want to, you can use printable sticker paper, or you can also just use a photograph and just glue it down onto your chipboard. Personally, I wouldn't recommend that because you're going to have to make sure that you've really glued it very, very well indeed. Whereas this printable vinyl is great. It goes straight through the printer. I have experienced problems before with the Cricut printable sticker paper because it is 300 GSM. It's too thick to go through my Epson printer, but this one isn't, and it goes through absolutely perfectly, and I'm quite happy with the print quality that comes out with this. This was from Amazon online. You can get other different ones as well. I'm actually waiting for a couple to come through the post at the moment, so when they come, be interesting to see what they're like. You'll need 1 sheet of this for each of your puzzles. This is the photo that I'm going to be using today, and I've printed it out on a full sheet of A4 sized printable vinyl. As I said before, this is a Cricut one. For some reason my printer has had a bit of a error on this section of the photo, but that doesn't matter because I can cut that off and then we can resize the jigsaw based around that. I don't really want this bit either with the car, but I didn't want to crop it too much. So I'm now going to put this onto my chipboard piece. So first of all, I'm going to jump into Cricut Design Space, and I'm going to show you the jigsaw puzzle templates that are available in there. They are access items, so there will be a small charge if you want to use them and you haven't got an access subscription, but in my opinion they are well worth it. One thing that is definitely worth mentioning right now is that this is a full sheet of printable vinyl, so it's quite big. It is 11 inches by 9.5 or something like that. And I would always recommend making your jigsaw puzzles quite big, because if you try and make them smaller, it doesn't tend to cut very well. And I'm going to show you Cricut's website with information about the knife blade, and it does tell you the size constraints and stuff that you will come across if you're using the knife blade to cut wood or chipboard. Here we are in Cricut Design Space then, and these are the 3 jigsaw puzzle templates that I would always use if I were going to be making jigsaw puzzles on a regular basis. So there's 3 on here that come in this image set, and I have used the one in the middle, the rectangle one, previously. That was the llama alpaca photo that I showed you earlier. And this square one here is a nice shape, and then you've also got this heart one as well. At the moment these are sized up to be about 20 by 15, and this one is 20 centimeters ish square. I am going to use the square one today on this particular photograph, and I'm going to pop it in the middle of my photo, so then it cuts off that little rainbowy bit on the side, and also the car on the right hand side. So if you want to use these puzzles, all you'll need to do is go over to images, and if you just type in jigsaw puzzle, oops, there, and then the first result that comes up is this one here, and if you click on the little 3 dots at the top, it gives you the code, and if you click on image sets, it will bring up the other 2 that are there. I'm just going to cancel that first, and I will put all of the image codes for each one of these at the bottom of the screen for you, so you can write those down. Just be sure that if you're searching using the image code that you do put in the little hashtag as well, because it needs that as part of its search. So what I'm going to do is just hide these 2 because I don't want those at this present moment. This is the one I'm going to use. And what I would recommend, as well as making your picture quite big, is to ensure that you don't have too many pieces in your puzzle, because A, that takes a lot longer to cut, and B, it just makes it more intricate for the knife blade to cope with, and sometimes it doesn't cope all that well with it. So it's a good idea to try and make your puzzle a decent size with less pieces in it. So let's have a look at the size of my photograph. Alright, so here's my photo again. Let's have a quick look at this size wise. So it needs to be realistically about 20 centimeters. 20 centimeters is what that is set at the moment, and it's going to then get the kids into about there, which is fine. It might cut their arms off a little bit. I could make it into the rectangle one, but I've already done a rectangle, so I wanted to try a square this time. Wouldn't it be better if they stood closer together and actually pretended that they liked each other? But that's siblings for you, I guess. Right, let's jump back into Design Space. So that puzzle is actually set already to 20.3 centimeters, and I think that will probably work fine for this. Let me just check that. Yeah, I'm going to leave it at the size that it is. It's perfect. It's already set up. So even though I'm leaving mine at the size that it is, you can always change the sizing by just either stretching out like this with your drag handle, or you can come up to the top here and you can change the sizes, width and height in these boxes. And if you do want to change it into an odd size, in fact, you know what I'm going to do? Do you know what I'm going to do? I am going to change the sizes. It's not going to be a square. I am going to make it longer, because I think cutting off their arms is serving them an injustice. So let's do 23 wide. Okay, and let's see what that comes out like. So 23 wide. Let's change that. Let's just do that and then put 23 wide in there. 23 wide by 20.5. Okay, that should work, and it's still giving me the big pieces, and it's going to be a good cut and a good size. Alright, the next thing that we need to do then is put this onto the mat. I'm going to go through to make it, and I'm going through to make it just to see which way round this is going to cut. Okay, so we have got the 23 at the top, so we want to make sure that our photo is on there that way around. Okay, so what we need to do is just get rid of all this old masking tape off of here. You can see this mat has been used quite a lot. It's still pretty sticky, mind you, so it should be okay. The first thing to do, if you've used your mat before for anything, is just get rid of any debris that's on there. So just use a scraper or a squeegee, whatever, and just get rid of all of the bits that are on your mat. Then what we need to do is just put that to one side. We're going to stick our photo onto the chipboard first. So here is our photo again. What I'm going to do is just pop it at the top like so, and I'm going to do my positioning via the screen in a moment. So this is fiddly. Alright then. What I'm going to do is just turn that over and get my big scissors and just cut off about a centimetre, which is a bit wonky, but it's fine. I'm just going to lift that up a bit so you can see. So now we've got that piece of the jigsaw photo exposed just there, and what I'm going to do now is just use that to place my picture onto my piece of chipboard. So now this side is stuck down, and the reason that I am sticking the whole sheet down is just so that I can make sure that I've got my positioning right, and also I'm not realistically ever going to use an inch wide piece of chipboard. So just lift that up at the back, and then I'm just using my hand on the other side here to just push that down. As I pull the backing paper away, I can just push it down with my hand and just make sure that there's no bubbles or any sort of problems with that. We need to make sure this is really well stuck, and if you're not using a printable vinyl or a sticker paper, you need to make sure that your gluing is top notch and that you've got glue on every single piece of this picture underneath, okay? Because if you don't, you're going to end up with bits that lift when it's cutting. Just use my brayer to give it a really good press. Just want to make sure that it's really well stuck down. So I'm happy that that is stuck down. Put that paper in the recycling. Okay, so the next thing to do now is to pop this onto our mat. So if we go back to design space now, you can see on the screen the positioning of the puzzle at the moment. So what I'm going to do is just turn my mat around, just a few more bits on there, and use the centimetres guide at the top so I can see what it looks like on the screen compared to what I've got in my hand physically. So I want my jigsaw to be there. So I've just put that down on the mat, okay? I'm happy with that. Right, now what I need to do is move this on my screen. So I want my picture to actually start cutting around here. So just after that yellow part, which is 2.5 centimetres in. So I'm going to move that across to the 2.5 line, which as you can see is there. And then I want it to start cutting my frame at the 1 centimetre mark. So I just want to come down there. Okay, so I'm happy with that now. Once I've got my positioning right, I can just click on continue, and that's found my machine, and we'll choose our material settings in just a minute. Okay, so what we're going to do now is fix this piece of chipboard down onto the mat. Here's my masking tape. I'm using 1-inch masking tape today. This is just normal masking tape. There's nothing special about it. And all you'll want to do is just pop a piece of it on the edge here of your photo. Use your finger to push it right into that chipboard at the bottom, and again there. We want to make sure that our masking tape doesn't overlap over the top or over the sides of the mat as well. So let's put another piece on here. And again, we're just going to run our nail, or whatever, you can use a weeding tool for this, it doesn't have to be your nail. Run that down there so that you've literally got a step to come up with your chipboard there. And then we're going to just do the same on the top. The purpose of using the masking tape is just to make sure that the board doesn't move during cutting, because if it does, it can create problems and can jam up your machine. And I have had that happen before, and it is not a fun experience. Okay, so there we go. That is fixed down and that is ready to go into the machine now. So what we need to do now is just have a quick look at design space, and what we want to do is choose our material. So obviously we're using Cricut's heavy chipboard, the 2mm thick one. So you can do this in a couple of different ways. You can either choose popular and see if it's on there. These are all the different materials that people have been using in the Cricut network at the moment. It's not on there. I also don't have it as a favourite, so what we're going to have to do is go to Browse All Materials, and then you can either search in this box at the top here, or it's at the top usually with the artboard section. So you can see you've got heavy chipboard there at 2mm, and you also have light chipboard there as well. If you're using basswood, you'll need to search for basswood, but that is also on here. So I'm going to choose heavy chipboard. I'm just going to click on that. It's a Cricut item, you can see, and you can see the little tick has come onto the screen there, which means it's selected. Once you've got that tick, click on done. Okay, that's ready now, and what it says to us on the screen now is move the star wheels all the way to the right, make sure the material is no wider than 11 and is secured to a strong grip mat using masking tape on all four sides, and we have done that with this one already. Our material is no bigger than 11 inches, which is fabulous. We are sorted. Now we have got to get our knife blade and we need to pop it into the machine, and then we're ready to start cutting. Here we are then at the machine, and what we're going to do now is pop our mat in and pop in the knife blade. So first of all, I'm going to put the mat in because it's just sort of hanging here at the moment. So what you want to do is, like normal, line your mat up with the two guides on either side of the machine and just pop that mat in the usual fashion. When we are looking at the screen, it's telling us we need to move the star wheels, and because I don't usually use my star wheels, they are actually all the way over to the right hand side anyway. If your star wheels are distributed along the roller like they normally are, you will need to just push them over gently to the right hand side so that they are at the way of the chipboard. And the reason that we do this is because the star wheels have got little dents on them, and they will dent your chipboard because it is a softer material and we don't want that to happen. So let's put the knife blade in now. So this is the knife blade as I showed you before, and it comes with the plastic protective case on that knife blade. So let's just take that off, and what we can do now, I'm just going to pop that there for now. Let's take out the fine point blade by opening clamp B and just remove the fine point blade and pop that on the top. You'll see that the knife blade's got some little cogs on the top of it, and we need to line these cogs up with those that are in the carriage of the machine. So all we need to do is just get the knife blade. Doesn't matter which way around the knife's facing because the machine will sort that out when it starts. And we just pop that knife blade on the little ledge on the carriage in clamp B like that, and then those cogs are now lined up with the ones behind, and we can close clamp B and completely close that up. So that is ready to go now. The flashing C is flashing nice and ready, so what we need to do now is just hit that button. So the machine carriage now will travel over all the way to the right hand side of the machine, and it's just detecting that you've got the right tool in there and that it's going to work properly for this particular cut. I expect this cut is going to take at least 2 hours, so I'm going to just leave it to do its thing. What I normally do with chipboard is come back after about half of the time and then I will just check how it's getting on and what's going on with the cut. If there's any problems, then it will allow me to stop the cut and just check on everything. So when it's time, I'll come back to you. Okay, so it's been about half an hour now and the machine's actually stopped and it thinks that this section is actually done. So I'm quite surprised. It's not taken very long at all. But I'm going to check the cut before I eject the mat, because if it's not all the way through, what I'm going to want to do is just press the flashing Cricut button again, just to give it another opportunity to cut through. So I've got my weeding tool here, and all I'm going to do is just lift up this corner, and I'm going to just lift out my puzzle. I'm just looking to see if that has cut all the way through. I can't actually tell that easily. I don't think it's gone all the way through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I'm clicked onto that mat on the screen, and I'm going to just hit the go button again. And I want it to just do maybe another 5 or 6 passes. It's done 24 passes on this particular cut, but it's not quite all the way through, so I am going to let it do a few more. I'm just going to keep an eye on my cut now, just to make sure that it's not going to go too far through, because I don't want it to cut into the mat button. Okay, so this has had now probably about 5 or 6 extra passes on top of what it did in its original cut. And you can see now that the pieces are starting to lift up a little bit. And generally that means that the cut has gone all the way through. I have peeled back this masking tape on the bottom again, and I've checked, and I can feel underneath that it has gone through. So I'm going to eject the mat now, and then we're going to take all the masking tape off and see how it's gone. So let's just eject the mat. Okay, so let's take off the masking tape first of all. So I'm just going to peel it all back. It doesn't matter whether it's stuck onto this bit, because obviously that is additional sort of frame work, so that doesn't matter too much. Just want to make sure we can get it off of the mat pretty easily. You can see how it's lifting like there, so it's coming out, which means it's cut through finally. So I'm just going to peel my mat away from the back of there. Let's pop that mat out of the way for now. So there is our puzzle. Let's try and push it out of there. Okay, so it hasn't cut that bottom line very well, so I might need to just go over that with my craft knife, just to get through that, to get it out of there. Okay, so the puzzle's cut, that's great. Okay, let's have a look at this. So we've got a few bits on the back of here. You can see where it hasn't quite gone through. It's done this side, and it's gone up to there. It has left a little bit there. One thing that I don't like about the knife blade is that you can't adjust the pressure that it gives, because it does it itself, but obviously sometimes it doesn't work because it doesn't give the correct pressure all the time, so it can be a little bit inconsistent with its cutting, as we've seen today. When I finished this cut as well, on the screen it came up and said that knife blade calibration was recommended, so I will do that as well at some point. I have got a video actually that's going up pretty soon about knife blade calibration. Okay, so I'm just going to push that out, and then I'll get those last little bits off it. Just want to make sure I don't break it. So you can see I've got a few fuzzy bits at the top there. Let's just get those off. Another way that I like to get these off is just to use an emery board, and I'll file it away like I would, like if I was doing my nails or whatever. Get rid of all those bits out of the way. Okay, so there is our frame, and here is the jigsaw itself. So all the pieces come apart and we can put them together in here. This jigsaw puzzle is actually a two-part one, and it should have a bottom that goes on it. So if you look at this one of us with the alpacas, it's quite sturdy and it's got this backing on it, and if I take out a couple of the pieces, you'll see that it's got a backing on it. I'm not going to do that with this one, not in chipboard anyway, because it's obviously I don't want to use a whole sheet of chipboard just for backing. Oops. So I've got this piece of corrugated cardboard stuff, and I'm going to cut out the backing with that, and I'm not going to do it on the Cricut. I'm just going to stick this onto here, and then I will have a nice sturdy back for my jigsaw puzzle without using up a whole piece of chipboard. And this corrugated card is just what you would get in a calendar or something like that, that they use it to keep it flat, but it's ideal for this sort of thing. You might even be able to make the whole jigsaw out of this, so that's actually something I might try in the future. Let me know down below if you'd be interested in seeing a video like that. So all I'm going to do now is just grab some tacky glue, and I am going to put it all the way around the edge of this. Now I've got that on there, I'm just going to glue this on to my piece of card. I just need to make sure I get it nice and straight. Now my glue's dried with my framework, I'm just going to grab a craft knife and just go straight around the edges and just cut through this card. And that's just created a really nice sturdy backing for my jigsaw without having to use a full sheet of chipboard and wasting that. It's not really wasting it, but you know what I mean. I could use it for better things. Okay, so now I'm going to put my jigsaw together. Wish me luck. It could be difficult because I can't actually remember how the picture goes. Okay. Every single week I put 2 videos up, one on a Sunday and one on a Wednesday, unless it is school holidays in the UK, and then I just do one a week on the Sunday. So I do hope that you will join me again for another one. Don't forget to subscribe. If you've enjoyed this video as well, hit the like button and let me know that you have learnt something new. Drop me any questions or comments down below, and I cannot wait to see you again for another video. Take care, bye.